Wow, finally the first episode. I can't believe it. This was goal number 8. Finally, the end of my goals for the first 5 years of the business. Now I'm going to build 5 more goals for the next 5 for our 10. Hey, it's Tim for ads made by hand, led by heart. That title there says it all. And you'll see it as I go through the first podcast. And I'm trying to relax, trying to mellow out, but I'm just hoping there's a lot of people online. I hope there's 3 of you that are going to listen today, and maybe 2. No, I'm just teasing. Hey, this podcast is for makers, dreamers, doers, anyone that loves to just craft and learn creativity, just being themselves. You know, when I look back 5 years ago, it's like, what am I doing? I never made a flower in my life. I hated crafts. You know, growing up in kindergarten and, grade school. I just didn't like crafts. I just never, caught on to it. So, I just want to tell you today is, and share with you, this on how I got started. Crafting, my business, who helped me, who was my mentors, who was the creators, what type of problems did I deal with and have? What did I face on a day-by-day basis? And I tell you, I have so many challenges that I didn't know what to do. I mean, I was just picking and grabbing and going and just doing stuff. Now, after the 5 years, I look back and the first 5 episodes, and that's how we're going to see on the problems. I'm going to start from 1, which is today, and how I got started. But the other 4 episodes, which I'll explain to everyone at the end of the show, are the next 4. And that'll tie everything in the first 5 years and how I got started. But there'll be at times that I'll have a guest, so we'll kind of not push that aside. We'll talk about those problems that maybe they're having or my guest is having or a future artist. I'll be by myself, or like I say, a guest. I get some good people lined up, but not confirmed. And boy, if I get some of those people, I might be shocked to get them. And it's going to help me help my audience understand that this podcast is here for a reason. It's made by hand, led by heart. And when it comes from the heart, especially what I'm doing, you'll see a lot of emotions throughout, years to come that, I hope I'm doing this podcast. This was my goal. I wanted to do a podcast for years. Now I'm doing it. Now I'm nervous, but I got to get over that. So, got, my scripts right here, and I just want to, revert back to notes. So, I'm going to just relax right now and just say, hey, this is how it is. And, it just starts that way. So, the feelings I had when I first started crafting is when I went into Michael's and looked at all the nice stuff, and then I started looking at the pricing because I wanted to remodel, my apartment. Man, I looked at that pricing and it was way out of reach for me. So I was there for probably about 45 minutes to an hour, and I guess one of the managers seen me walking around the store. He comes up and he says, "Jay, can I help you with anything, sir? I see that you're walking around and this and that." I says, "No," and I looked at his name tag. His name was Robert. And I says, "No, Robert, actually, I was just, why, can I ask you a question?" And he says, "Yeah, sure." I says, "Why is everything so expensive? I mean, I know that you got sales here, but even the sale price doesn't look good, sale price." But all in all, I did buy some stuff, just in the meantime. But then he had the nerve to take me to the Cricut Maker aisle. That's where it all started, right there. Robert was a great guy. He still works for Michael's. He's at the Peoria store. I think it's Peoria, the I-17. But we spent probably that first day, probably about 4.5, 5 hours, what to get and how to get it and this and that. Because I was dead serious. I was going to make my own stuff. I said, and I told myself, because, hey, my stepdad built houses, you know, I can build a house, you know, I can build this, and I never thought about flowers or anything. And guess what? That's my unique niche. My number one niche is flowers. But I never thought about flowers or anything. I just thought about building, you know, things out of paper and wood and this and that. So that's how I took it. Well, 2 to 3 weeks later, guess what? A couple of friends of mine, you know, he has a big truck, you know, because I told him it was a big order. And these guys didn't believe me. So we went on, run around front, and Robert was there. I knew he was there. I called him. And Robert said, yeah, hey, drive around back and I'll open the door. We drove around back. These guys, I had 4.5 pallets of stuff that I ordered. It was almost $4,000 worth of stuff, but I had cabinets and, you know, and that, like, a lot of the stuff is still here. Well, no, it isn't. It was all plastic stuff, but I got rid of the plastic. But anyways, these guys are like looking at me and says, well, Tim, what the hell did you buy? He was just laughing. And I said, no, hey, we got to load it up and go. But all in all, we left Robert over at Michael's, and he thanked me a million times. So we got back, and before, you know, we went to Michael's, I kind of had an idea where I was going to put everything when we got back to the apartment. And so I cleared everything out. So all we had to do is just bring it in, bring some cabinets up, set up a crafting table, and I told the guys, you can leave. Well, guess what? They left. I set everything up. I was tired. I was pooped. It was Sunday morning. Well, actually Saturday I did that. Sunday morning, I went to bed and woke up. And I come out of the kitchen. I says, "What the heck did I just do?" So here I have all this product and paper and cabinets and stuff. What am I going to do? So literally, I kind of got everything organized. Got nothing hooked up, but just put everything, you know, on the tables and stuff like that. Well, for about 3, 4, 5 weeks, everything was still in boxes. So, you know, I'm like, wow, I got to do something. So, a friend of mine, I have some good friends. His name was can't think of his name right now. No, Roy. Or no, Ray. I'm sorry, Ray. But anyways, Ray came over and he used to work with a cricket machine. He used to have one of this and that. And he says, "Oh, this is fun. This is easy. Wait till I'll show you how to do it." So for the next 2.5, 3 days, he helped me, and he stayed over, slept on the couch and stuff, because he was excited. You know, he was disabled and retired, and I was too. And so I said, "Yeah, just so you don't have to drive all the way back to West Phoenix." So for 2.5, 3 days, we had the whole house set up. He helped me organize it. And just, it was unbelievable. I said, wow, I can find a way. So with that being said, that's where I started. And so you can actually see the major problem I had when I first purchased all that product. I was scared to open the boxes, you know, and the cricket machine especially. You know, at that time the cricket machine was around $400, so, you know, it sat there. And that's where a lot of people today, when they do get a cricket machine for a holiday present or birthday present or something like that, they're afraid to open it. And there's people out there that support people like myself, like Abby Kirsten, JenniferMaker.com. There's some great people out there. Your Dreaming Tree can help you. There's some great people out there that have classes for it, free classes. They even got little handouts that they can do. That's what they do, and that's what they help all those people. And again, leading into what they do and what I'm going to do for you, everyone on the podcast, is help you on how to start a crafting business, how to get organized, find your unique niche, and this and that. But I'm also going to show you in my classes, which is totally different. I mean, that's the Artisan's Journey online classes. This is just the, made by hand, led by heart podcast. But I'm going to take a lot of that stuff that I'm doing in school and bringing it to the podcast and say, hey, look, we built this and the classes are going so good. People are, loving it. It's a subscription price, $9.99 a month. I'm going to have up to 100 classes, hopefully by the end of this year, and watch it. That's just leading into some of the future. But That's what you're going to learn. You're going to learn all those little tidbits on how I took the baby steps and started crawling up. And here I am today, you know, and goal number 8, you know, 5 years it took me to get the podcast up and going. And let me just tell you, the school itself, I wanted to open that school 2 years ago. And I was dead serious. 2 years ago, I wanted to open the school. But something was telling me I wasn't ready, which I wasn't. And I'm glad I didn't open it because I would have failed. And there's reasons why I didn't open it. And why I opened it just it was in April. We had the grand opening at the Maricopa County Fair. And I was there. We did the grand opening. We had a couple of classes in there. And that's what I was doing at the county fair this year, is teaching fairgoers how to craft, the basics of crafting, paper crafting. So that's where it's only been open 2 months. Still got a few classes to go, but I have a bunch of classes I'm going to have done before the state fair, which is in 82 days. So kind of with that being said, I just want to let everyone know that these classes itself, you're going to find and you're going to enjoy them. You can come on this show every Friday and text me the questions on the screen and I can look. But just kind of let you know that I'm just not going to build things and this and that, but we're going to talk about everything that I know that I can help you with. Going into the 5 years, right, there's some things that I had to do to get to this step. Well, I kind of hit the panic button in the 4th year. And when I say hit the panic button, I was ready to hang it up. And I'm not kidding you. I actually sat down and looked at myself and said, man, I love what I do though. I can't do this. And I had to really dig deep down and say, what do I need to change to get to my goals? Well, I wrote this out. This is what it looks like. This was last year in July, and I still have this paper. There is 8 projects that I wanted to do to make the next 5 years. I wanted to keep going. So I had to change something in this whole thing I'm doing. I mean, I was building products. I mean, I averaged 980 items per year I was building. I mean, that was just gobs of product. I was just buying and just building and selling, building and selling. I wasn't happy with that. People 2, 3 years ago were saying, Tim, you need to come up with a Tim Tube channel, all that stuff. So that, that was in the back of my mind too. But the 4th, well, it was actually July of last year, I wrote these 8 projects done, and I had to have them done before the end of first quarter of 2025. Completely done. Well, I finished them. I'm going to go through each of them. I got plenty of time. I mean, like I say, this show is going to be, I didn't even say anything about that. The show is going to be once a week on Fridays, 10 o'clock sharp in the morning. You're going to see me and enjoy, hopefully you enjoy me and give me some good reviews and stuff like that. But you have plenty of time. The show's going to last about 45 minutes to an hour. I won't go over an hour unless we have 10 artists in here. They're all talking. But that's not going to happen. But anyways, the first thing I had to do, inventory management. And you just heard me what I just said. I was building way too much product per year. So I went around and looked online on what was the best inventory management system to get. Took it off. It was Box Hero. I got them. Still use them. Love them. And guess what? Cardstock. I haven't ordered in about a year. I mean, I still got plenty of cardstock. I mean, I was ordering the cardstock every week for some reason. So that's put a stop to it, and I've used a lot of it. I mean, I am reordering stuff now, but it's all the good colors. So that was that, and that took a good solid month. So now we're going into August, right? Now the next thing I did is banking. The banking app. Something had to happen with banking because I'm putting money in my pocket, putting money over here, putting money in my checking account. My brother said to me, who's going to do your taxes? I sure ain't, because you don't even know what you bought. So, got that correct. And then that was easy. It's a banking app called Found. and man, I've been using that for a good solid year now. I love it to death because it's just a push of the button. I use that card, all the receipts there, don't have to worry about getting receipts anymore. So that was number 2. Number 3 was, number 3 and 4 were big decisions because I knew, I put this on paper and trying to explain to you what I was trying to do, but 3 and 4 were the most hardest things to do. And I'll just tell you one. The first one was closing down Crafting Journey online. That was the classroom I wanted to open 2 years ago. I kept it open. I kept that LLC license open. I'm going to do it. I know I'm going to do it. But I had to tell myself, no, close it now, start over. I did the paperwork, turned it into, the Arizona Corporate Commission, did that, got the final paperwork back, and I had tears in my eyes. Well, guess what the next one was? Number 4, I even had bigger tears. I had to close the mothership down, which is Home Business Expressions. And that was the mothership. And that was dear to me because my son Cody Lee, he's the one that got me going on, so I'm gonna blame him. But anyways, he built a website for me, he put everything in there, he did promotions for me. That website was just out of this world. I mean, it was just gorgeous, but it meant a lot to him, it meant a lot to me. And when I had to break the news to him, I had to close Home Business Expressions. Why? Why, Dad? That was, I did a lot of work, and we did. And it hurt him. So, dang. So, again, in the back of my mind, I had this sheet of 8 projects to do. So, guess what? Number 5 is, and there's a reason for number 5 why we had to do it. And I'm going to kind of let you know on that in the next page. We opened up Artisan Studios, and completely different from Home Business Expressions in the classroom, but wanted to step up our game and make it more artisty, more artist, not craftsy, but artist type feeling. Artisans Studios. And the tagline that we have, and I know it's up there, but it's crafting nature's beauty digitally. Where's tough to make sure. But crafting nature's beauty, which is the floral bouquets on the other. So I'm taking that beauty and we're putting it digitalized. Now everyone's thinking right now, wow. So what are you doing? You're not making any more flowers or this and that? No, we were in the press room. We waited on getting the LLC license. We finally got it about 3-4 weeks. We were already working on the print-on-demand store, which is through Shopify. That's where the website's through. So it was perfect fit. Printify, Shopify, same company. It was married. Man, that print-on-demand store is so neat. I have, matter of fact, let me just kind of back up a little. I have over 30,000 plus pictures saved on the cloud. So one of my mentors, a good lady, I won't mention her name because she's not in the business anymore and I'm not supposed to. She called me a couple of years ago, or no, last year. She goes, "What are you doing with your pictures, Tim?" Because she's seen my work and she loved it. She couldn't believe it. And I said, "I'm just sitting in cloud." She goes, let me give you a link to a video or to something I want you to watch and everything. So she did. And I always listened to her. So as soon as she got a phone, I went to that link and did what she told me because she's my mentor. And you'll hear more and more of that down the road. Once you have mentors in your pocket and they're taking care of you and they're calling you and you're not calling them, listen to them and do what they say. Because that's where I'm at today. That's what helped me get there, is by listening and doing. But anyways, so I watched this link and I just was flabbergasted. Print on demand. So they're taking pictures, they're drawing stuff, and they're putting it on this canvas, they're putting on t-shirts, they're putting on shoes, curtains, bathroom showers, bathroom towels, cutting boards, running boards. You're putting on hats, you're putting them on your body if you wanted to, I guess. But they put it on 900 items, people, and I went nuts over that, and I seen that, and I said, I got to do this. So we were already building that print-on-demand store when Artisans, we were waiting for the Artisans paperwork, LLC paperwork to come in, and here it is, bam, we got it. And I try my dangest to open up everything and have everything completed. Keep in mind, people, I'm IT illiterate, and I had so many problems. Again, I was in that position, and I'm just going to give it up. I quit. But I didn't. I kept digging. I kept reading. I kept learning, and I did it by myself. I mean, to this day, I'm still shocked that when I open up that website, every time I says, man, I did that. It's a feeling that you accomplish something, not only in life, but from the heart. And again, there's a title, again, to this podcast, is that heart. My heart cries every time when I open that up, because that was it was 3 months, 4 months of just solid reading and doing work, and just literally ready to give it up. But anyways, so the print-on-demand store, again, I'm waiting on a few more things to really get everything up and going. I need advertising dollars, obviously. Once that gets done, we're going to start advertising, start going. But there's some, I want to make sure everything's clicking and everything's running good. It's open now. It looks good, but I got to tweak a few more things, and I'm going to find the right person to help me on that. So it's just like I kind of remember that, especially on this website, and I'm going to lead into a story of what happened years ago, is when I first sold one of my flower bouquets, it had so many, and I had probably 7 or 8 different types of flowers in them, and the colors were just out of this world. And that's the first time I used a color wheel, and I got to understand the color wheel on how to match colors and stuff. And it was amazing. It was, wow, this is cool. So I picked all the papers, the colors of the paper up and printed it out. And this is when I was still going out to Phoenix Park and Swap. Good people out there, by the way. Good people. I had a blast out there. Good citizens up there too, and we bought a lot of stuff over the last 2-3 years there. But anyways, this lady comes in. I don't think you see me, but I walked by your booth about 5 times now. I didn't see her, I'm like, wow, people are buying stuff, and I'm not looking at people. She came up, she was from a distance. She goes, it's from a distance, those look real. And I was shocked to stop a lady down the aisle there, and I stopped her. I says, are those real? She asked that lady if they're real. I'm like, wow, nice. And that lady said, no, they're paper, and he creates them. And she told me, she was a lady that bought something for me before, months ago. But she said, I always buy stuff from him. And this is the lady that's talking to me. She goes, I want that bouquet. And this bouquet was, I think, $35-40. And she took it, no questions asked, gave me the money, and I put it in a nice box, and she thanked me. I mean, she said, man, this is beautiful. I mean, she said, I have a terrible green thumb. She never waters it, everything always dies. So that's just kind of like opening the website. When I first sold something off that website, they didn't even get to touch it yet. They looked at a computer and bought it. So I'm like, oh, this is nice. I don't even have to create it. So all these 30,000 plus pictures I have in there, and then I got my inventory. Guess what? I have my inventory. Boom. I have no more inventory, which I do. But keep in mind, I mean, I learned all this over the 5 years. Now I got a company. Now I can finally sit back and say, now it's time to manage. Now it's time to grow. That's the reason why we opened the school. Because again, I followed those 8 projects. When I was at the Maricopa County Fair, Artisan was already open, the print-on-demand store is open, and with grand opening the school, and guess what? We had one more goal to do, and that's today. The 27th, Friday, 10 a.m., we're open. Goal number 8, we hit it, and I'm just so happy that I did, because I know I'm going to love this even better than what I shouldn't say that. I love crafting. I love making things. But the bottom of my heart, name of the title, I'm going to have a blast doing this, because you guys and gals are going to find out stuff that I learned and you probably didn't even know. I mean, still see, and I won't mention any names, I still see a lot of great designers out there uh, doing what they do at best. And they do a great job. I see. And I'm like, gosh darn, how, I can't, well, go to my classroom, and guess what you're going to get? You're going to pay $9.99 a month. And I'm not going to sell any class. I don't want you to buy any classes today, but you're going to get a class, and you're going to get on there, you're going to pay for the first month. Matter of fact, the deal is, you buy 3 months, you're going to get 1 month free. So you might as well buy 2 and pay $18, you get a month free. But anyways, you test it out, and then you can cancel anytime. But the first time you get on into one of those classrooms, and let's say it's a 3 roses that you're going to put together in a vase and this and that, it is start from finish. Start to finish. You're going to see me paint the vase, or you're going to take one of the classes. As a matter of fact, that class is already put in there by painting the vase and doing some nice stuff to it. That class is already in there. But you're going to see from start to finish. And I think one of the flower classes is, I think 14 chapters, 14 videos, something like that. And remember, I'm doing this by myself on my own and teaching everyone out there on how to start something and finish it. It's just like my mommy always said, Tim, go pick up your bedroom, and when you're done, let me know so I can come see it. You start to finish. Everything that you do in life is there's got a starting point and a finish point. A lot of designers, they have a middle, and they're only building a portion of your project. So you're gonna love my classes. You're gonna, at first, the first probably 10 classes, stumbling, and I was doing more, doing this. I learned quick.